It's Wednesday and I'm here over at artbeads.com/live and we are going to make earrings today. So our project that we're going to be working on, I think I called them like Colorful Harvest. I'm trying to remember. And then these are the earrings right here. And I had so much fun making these. Actually, they're one of my favorite things that I've made in a really long time. I love the color palette. I love the drama of them. And they're really fun and easy to wear. And I see that Eric is here. Hello. And Michelle is here with the Art Beads team. So if you have any questions, post away. I will try to answer them as best as I can. But some of the technical questions, we have the great team behind the scenes of Eric and Michelle, and they are wonderful to answer questions when they do come up. So like I mentioned, I'm here live. Yay, it's Wednesday, it's early September, and I think we're all thinking of fall harvest and pumpkin lattes and lots of good cozy sweaters and things like that. So these will be really fun earrings to make today. A couple little housekeeping things before we get started is if you are joining this live, welcome. You might be on artbeads.com/live, and if you are, I can see your comments and read them and answer them here on the air. If you are over on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. We're so glad you're here as well. Definitely comment. You know, we'll get to those questions as soon as we can, but we won't be able to answer them live and see them live. So if you want to follow the link in your video, that you're watching on the description, go ahead and follow that and I'll take you over to artbeads.com/live. You can join the party over here where I can answer your questions and see who's joining us. And I see Deb is joining us. Hi Deb. And I see Tina. Oh, thank you. I missed you guys too. I've been out for a little bit and I am happy to be back. And I see Deborah from Denver. Hello Deborah. It is good to see familiar faces, familiar names as we have fun today. So if everyone is ready, I'm going to go ahead and flip my screen down. But first, let me show you this real quick up close because it's what we're going to be making. Here is the earring, and you can see it has a Nunn Design finding up top for an earring hook. And it has a Nunn Design arrow charm at the bottom. We got some little mini dagger beads. And then we have some beautiful Raven's Journey beads. And if you are joining us live and watching this live, we are having a special sale on all of the Aster coin beads by Raven's Journey. We're going to do 20% off, and the code is Julie20 because we're using them in this video here. We're having a special week where we're spotlighting different artisan brands, and we do love both Nunn Design and Raven's Journey. All right, so I am going to take both of these off and we're going to put them on my table, flip my camera down so we can start designing. Hello, backyard. Okay, so this is what we've got. And that is the deal of the day code, that Julie20 on those pretty Aster beads. And you can see when you get them, you get a beautiful strand like this. I pulled this one too because I thought this was a great color. And then I'm going to be using these ones in the actual design. But there's a whole bunch of different ones, beautiful colors available, and they are just a lovely, lovely bead. But I like how many you get because you imagine we're just using 2 for a pair of earrings and you get so many, so you can make a lot of different pieces of jewelry. And I've often looked at this strand and thought, that's a beautiful bracelet like that. You don't actually have to do anything to it. Just restring it, put on a clasp or some stretch cord, and you have a beautiful bracelet just like that. Oh, Santa Barbara girl is here. Hello, and Susan. It's good to see everybody. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, and don't forget real quick, if I show you something and you want to know more about it, click on that little shopping bag icon and it has everything you see here in the shopping bag. So you don't have to wait for a banner to pop up or for me to describe it. And you can just click on it and then you can see the product description. You can add it right to your shopping cart. Lots of fun stuff. Okay, so for the way that I strung these, I used Wildfire. So I used Wildfire and I used the white and I used it in the 0.006 size. My little sticker is over the top of this, but you can see I used 0.006 and I used the white one. Hi, Tara and Robin. Oh, it's good to see you guys. I have missed this. Okay, so I used the white one. I think it's going to be easier for us all to see if I use black. So I did put black in the shopping bag as well, just so you can see it. It's the exact same size, so it won't affect our design ability, but I think it will affect how clear we can see this on the screen. Okay, so we're going to be using Wildfire. We're going to be using 2 needles. I love doing a double needle method. I find it really a lot easier than a single method. You'll see why here in a minute. So we're going to use 2 needles, and those are tulip needles. For our partial focal, we're going to be using this Nunn Design arrow charm, which I love. And I just noticed for the first time, the arrow tip almost looks like a heart, which I thought was really cool. I've used this charm a lot, and I've never really noticed that, but it does kind of look like a little heart. We are going to be using these really pretty mini dagger beads in this chartreuse color, which I love. So let me put a few of those out. And then we are going to be using a variety of seed beads. So I have a really pretty kind of gold color. I have another like chartreuse, and I have this pretty blue turquoise. These are all size 11.0 rounds by Toho. So those are fun. And then I put in the shopping cart. We're not using it, but I just thought this color complemented all the other colors we are using. So I have this really pretty 8.0 bead as well. And I have these little check glass rondelles, which are great little spacer beads. I don't know if you guys have seen these. I feel like these are often overlooked on the website, and I tend to forget that we have them, but they're a really nice little size, and they do come in a lot of different colors too. Okay, then we're going to use the aster beads, and it's that 20% off all the Raven's Journey coin aster beads for the deal of the day. And so we got those, and those are double-sided, so they look really great however they spin. And then we're going to be using these little fluted beads in a wonderful pumpkin orange, which I think is great. I did put these in the shopping bag as well, just because I love them, and the colors, again, are so perfect for this design. So if you want to play off this design, maybe you don't want to make the exact design, but you want to use some of these beads and come up with your own, I thought these would work really well. I kind of wanted to, and I was thinking about this morning. I feel like after this video, I want to do another 2 or 3 pairs of earrings using just these beads again, but in different combinations, because I think the colors work really well together and they're just fun. So I feel like I could just spend the day designing with these set of ingredients. I think that would be really fun. Oh, and I see Cats here as well. Hello, Cats. Okay, and then again, we're going to finish them with a Nunn Design hook. And I chose this antique copper because I really wanted to play off the harvest fall feel. And I love Nunn Design antique copper for that. All right, we're ready to go. So let's do black instead of white, just so that we can see it better. So you need about 30 inches of this. So I'm going to cut myself 30 inches. So we just got that right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a needle on both ends. And what's cool about these is we are only going to be using 1 jump ring for the construction method besides the actual Wildfire. Now what I like to do is I take my nail, a little tip here is I tend to squish the end of my Wildfire a little bit, kind of flatten it out. I find it makes it a little bit easier to thread. We'll see if that's true as I try to thread this on camera. I always feel like this is one of the hardest things to do on camera because I'm looking over the edge of the camera to try to do this. And it's always a little bit tricky. All right, there we go. So we've got that on there. And now we're gonna go and we're gonna do the other end as well. I see Susie is here from South Florida. Hello. Okay, so then another needle on the other end. Okay, so that one went on easier, yay. Okay, so you've got your 2 needles and you've got your cord, and you kind of want to make their tails about the same. Okay, so here's what we've got now, and we've got our nice long loop of thread right here. So we're going to start from the bottom and just work our way all the way up the design. So the first step that we're going to do is we are going to place on here, we are going to do got my little beads right here, and I might need to pour out a few more. These These are my leftovers from when I made the sample pair. Okay. And then I need this pretty chartreuse. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to put on one of the, let's see, we're going to put on, first we're going to put on our charm. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we are going to put one turquoise, one gold, one chartreuse onto one needle. So you can kind of see that's just hanging out there. Okay, now what we're going to do is let that fall back down, and we're going to do the same pattern on the other needle. So one turquoise, one gold, one chartreuse. Same exact pattern. And thank you. I see that Michelle is helping put on all of these, put up all the banners, which is great of what we're working with. And I see Dee is just joining us. Hello, Dee. This is the earring we're making today. So we're going to do a little bit of bead weaving and a little bit of clever beading to make this earring. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to let that go down to the middle. So you see you want that to sink to the middle here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot. So we're just going to take our two ends. Careful because you've got the needle on here. You're going to make a little loop. Go through the little loop and tie a knot. So we've made like a little round right here. And you hope, yep, there we go. It's in focus. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tie another little knot on top of it. And just again, go through very carefully so you don't poke yourself. And pull down. And what this did is it basically secured the charm without using a jump ring. So now we're just using very clever beading to not have to use a bunch of different findings or a bunch of different other elements and just let the beads be our findings. Okay, so now we've got that anchored at the base. So we're going to work our way up now. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to refer back to the sample piece right here. So you see that we've got the daggers as the next step. So we're going to do on each beading needle, we're going to do one turquoise bead. We're going to do 3 daggers, 1, 2, 3. So you see that? And then we're going to do one of these cool rondelles, these check glass rondelles. And then we're going to go ahead and do 1 gold bead. And so you see that? We've got all of that on there. Oh, hi, PJ. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I'm back too. Very glad. Okay, so now we're going to do the same on the other side. We already put the turquoise. So now we're going to do 3 daggers. And then we're going to do another one of these pretty rondelles. And then we're going to do a gold bead. And we're going to let all those slide down. And you can see how it's easier to do this with the double needle method because we're building each side one at a time. So then what we're going to do is we want these now to come together. So in order for them to come together, we need an anchor bead. Our anchor bead is going to be another rondelle. So go ahead and put that on one needle. Let it slide down a little bit, but before it slides down all the way, put the other needle through it as well. Pull. And then what's going to happen is when you pull this nice and tight, you have that little cluster of those dagger beads right there. So there we go. We've got that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our first aster bead. And so I think on these, the hole is big enough that you can take both needles together and go through it all at once. And so that's going to come down. And what's really important with this earring is tension. So we're holding this pretty tight and we're going to keep watching our tension as we go so that we don't end up with a big gap between the beads. Hi, Carol. Oh, and Amy. Thank you, Amy. I'm glad you like this idea for a charm. I think this is a really easy way and you don't have to worry about that charm slipping out too, which is nice. Okay, so now we're going to do the bead surround around that aster bead. So for that one, we're again going to separate out our needles. So you got your 2 needles. You see how they're going on separate directions right there. And we're going to go ahead and do 4 of the chartreuse beads. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're We're going to do 4 of the turquoise. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do 4 of the gold. And this is just all on one needle. So if you see what we got here, got all those beads lined up on that one needle. And then we're just going to let them slide on down. And now they look like little antennas coming out, but that's what we've got so far. So we need them to go along the outer edge of that aster bead. And thank you, Ruth. I'm glad you like the design. I really like this design. I want to wear these all the time this season. Okay, and so what I did was I just went back up through the aster bead, and I'm just pulling. And if you pull tight enough, it will stay along the side. Now, you could also, when you're all done with this design, add just a little dab of glue along that edge if you're worried about those beads slipping. But I have found that for some reason, I don't know why, there's enough surface there, they're just staying, which is a lovely surprise because I really thought I'd have to add glue. So we're going to do the same thing for the next side, the other side. So we're going to start with the 4 chartreuse, followed by the 4 turquoise, followed by the 4 gold, okay, so we've just got those on our needle as well. Going to go ahead and let that slide on down. And then remember what we're going to do is we're just going to now loop it around and go back up through that aster bead. So it's coming off the top, so you want to go down through the bottom. And I'm not going through this rondelle right here. I'm just only going through the aster bead. And up we go. And when we pull it, what it does is it goes around the outside of that bead. So now we've got the 2 sides done for the outside of the bead. And now what I want to do is I want to follow up with another rondelle, kind of as just like a nice anchor. So I put it onto one needle, and now I'm going to go through with the next needle and put that one on. And this is where you're going to look at your tension. So you're going to let this slide on down. You've got that one rondelle with the 2 threads going through it. They'll sit right there. And there you go. So it's like Santa Barbara girl is saying, it kind of hugs the bead, and it does. And then these kind of stick out, which is really fun. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to give a little tug. And if you need to tug one at a time, you can tug one at a time just to make sure that's nice and tight. Because we're almost, believe it or not, we are almost done with this earring. It doesn't take that long. So if we lay this down, this is what we've got as we're building it up. I want to kind of be able to see this. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. So we've got that charm attached with the seed beads. We've got almost like a flower design coming out with the daggers. And then we've got the aster bead. So we really only have the pretty pumpkin colored fluted bead and one more of these rondelles. And then we're going to go ahead and do some more seed beads at the top. So we're going to, let me see if this works. We can try first to put both needles through the fluted bead. So just go from the bottom up. And they do, both slid through just fine. So then we're going to go ahead, go down, and now I know that both needles will not go through the little check glass rondelle because I tried it and I got stuck. So I was just going to do one at a time. So here's one. Go ahead. And then 2. Okay. And I really feel like you could play with it. You could change the orientation of all of these. You could have the aster bead lower down here, and you could have the daggers up higher. You could have this fluted bead down lower. You could really mix and match this design to suit your needs and however you want it. Okay, so we are almost done. We just need to find a way to attach basically the earring hook. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some more seed beads, and we're going to put a jump ring through one of them. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Again, we're still using our double needle, and we're going to do a chartreuse bead, a turquoise bead, and a gold bead. So we just got that on our needle. And then what we're going to do is on the other side, we're only going to add a chartreuse and turquoise. Okay. So I got those. And now we're going to crisscross. We're going to take the needle that did not put the gold bead on. So hopefully we can kind of see this. Okay, so here we are. You see we've got that gold bead right there. We want to crisscross through it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this one needle here. And we're just going to go through the gold bead, going the opposite direction of the cord that's coming out of it, and pull. So this is what we've got up here. So we were able to make a loop up at the top with our seed beads. Now I find it easier before we go any further to attach our jump ring, because our jump ring is going to be what lets us attach our earring hook. So you see how we've got the earring hook right here, and we definitely need a way of attaching it. So go ahead and grab your chain nose pliers. Let me see, I only brought one out. That will not do. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to open up our jump ring, just like so. And then because this is not secured yet, we can kind of isolate it and move it around a little bit more. So you see I've got that jump ring right there. And what I want to do is I want to slip, I got that seed bead right there. What I want to do is I want to slip my jump ring through it. And hopefully it works, because it worked on the other samples. So let's see. We can always adjust our tension later. So I kind of want to pull down these threads. Come on. You can do it. Ah, I just bent that jump ring out of shape. Okay. So let's see, because this should be working, because it worked before. Do you guys do that too, where you do something and then it's like, well, it worked a minute ago? Okay, well, let me try something real quick. Let me just double check that I pulled the right size jump ring out. Let me make sure it just goes through one. All right, so yeah, it goes through one normally. So maybe I have a little bead here that's a little bit of a problem. I might need to restring it. Let's just try again. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I know I have 2 cords passing through there, but it worked before on the sample, so it should work. Okay, I'm going to put on a different gold bead. We're going to see if it's my bead. Maybe I just have a bead with a hole that's not very good right there. Okay, let's verify again that this goes through here. Okay, it does. Okay, so we verified that that works. And I know that the cord, the wildfire, is adding a little bit of extra width in there, a little bit of extra to it, but let's see. Let's take off this gold bead. Okay. All right. Problem solve here. So the 3 seed beads I used were these ones right here, the gold, the chartreuse, and the turquoise. All right. Let's take off this gold bead and let's see if our other one brings us better luck. And if not, we'll problem solve how else we want to attach this earring hook. Okay, so we're going to go down, down, and going to go through it, crisscross. Okay, we verified already that the jump ring went through this one. Let's pick up our jump ring again. And come on, see if it works. There we go. Okay, so we made it through. Woo. Okay, so a good lesson is, even though these are wonderfully uniform beads, sometimes the hole size can vary slightly. So, good to keep trying. If you think it should work, it is good to keep trying and maybe try a different bead. And I see that Mary B might want to go and put the jump ring on before you put the threads. So I had thought of that too, but then my concern was that the needles themselves are thicker than the threads, and I wasn't sure I'd be able to get the needle through it. But you could definitely try that for sure. That might be easier too. And we can do a little experiment here because I'm all about experimenting to see what might work. Okay, so pull this. Okay, we're going to pull this down carefully. And of course, when I did the sample before the show, it went on so easily. It was so nice. Okay, I like the idea of seeing though too if we can do the jump ring on before and what would happen. So let me actually finish up this earring and then we're going to do that at the end, just for our own peace of mind to know if that would work. Okay, so we finished the whole earring right now, and now we just need to tie it off. So what we're going to do is we are going to go back down through some beads, and we're going to tie some discreet knots. So you just slip under a little thread bridge, and we're just going to make a little discreet knot. So this would be the same as if you were doing bead weaving. And then you can go down again. And wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you feel like you've got a good spot, you can do a knot. And you're going to do that on both sides. So you're going to take your other thread as well, your other needle, and you're going to start to work it through your earring. And you have enough thread that you can go like here. We'll take this one. We're going to go all the way through that pretty pumpkin-y bead and all the way through that rondelle, and we're going to go all the way through our aster bead. And don't forget, if you're watching this live, if you joined us a little late, we're having a special deal of the day on the Raven's Journey Aster coin beads, 20% off with the code Julie20. So good time to pick up some of those because they are so pretty and very fall and harvesty. Okay, so now we're right here. I'm going to go through another bead, and then I'm going to tie another knot. Okay, just going to slip under. Okay. And if you're down here near the daggers, just a little warning, those daggers like to try to get caught in your knots. So just kind of be careful of them and tie a knot. You can tie a double knot if you want. You can do whatever you want. And then once you're happy with what you've got, work your needle and thread in a little bit more and just trim your tail. Okay. And so we're just going to trim this tail here too. I usually put 2 knots in place. I feel like 2 is good and secure. But here is our earring, and we just need to put on the hook. And then we're going to try that experiment to see if we could put a jump ring on a seed bead first. So for the pretty Nunn Design hook, it has that little loop at the base. This earring is double-sided. It looks perfect from each side. The charm is double-sided. The aster bead is double-sided. So you don't have to worry about a right or wrong way. And there we go. We made our earring. So I love these earrings. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I make a design and it energizes me. It just is like, I want to just sit and play with these exact beads all day long because I think the colors are just so lush and beautiful and kind of an unexpected fall palette. I mean, we've definitely got the orange and the green, but I like adding the turquoise and this kind of like muted purple. So I think it's a fun color palette, and mixing the gold and the antique copper too is really fun. Oh, a matching bracelet would be great. That would be really fun. Oh, thank you, Deb and Robin. The chartreuse, the luster black with yellow. Yes. So Robin, the one that I keep calling chartreuse is the luster black with yellow lining. I know that I think these look more chartreuse than luster black with yellow lining, but yes, you are right. The official name is the black with yellow. So, okay, experiment time. Let's see what we can do. We're going to open a jump ring. And And we're going to put on a seed bead, and it does go on very easily when there's no threads in there. Okay, and let's see, so did I take off my needle? I probably did. Yep, I took off my needle. So we're just going to put a needle back on. Ah, Ruth, I'm glad you like the colors too. Yeah, they're yummy. They're happy. Okay, so here we've got a needle. And let's see if we can go through that seed bead with the needle and thread. Nope. It gets stuck right away. So it actually won't even go through the seed bead at all. But definitely worth a try and worth experimenting, because that would have been a nice solution. Now you could, another thing I have done, guys, which if you don't want to worry about kind of like struggling with that, use a little bit bigger seed bead. Yep, Michelle, exactly. We need a bigger bead, because look what we have here. If we have an 8/0 seed bead, look how big that hole is. So in that case, let's go ahead and take another jump ring. And we're going to have plenty of space. So you could just go ahead and put a bigger jump ring, or not bigger jump ring, a bigger seed bead there at the top of this design instead of that gold one we used, but you can see that. And then you're just going to be able to sail right through it. That's going to be so easy to get multiple thread passes through it. So you could definitely jump up from the size 11 to size 8 and then not worry about it. And I did put this one in the shopping cart as well, just because I thought the colors of this one were too perfect together not to include, in case you guys are gonna make some other designs using these beads as well. I wanted to include this one as well. Okay, that was fun, guys. I'm gonna pop the camera up again real quick and then say goodbye for today. Let me get this camera up. All right, yay. Okay, that was really fun, guys. I loved making these. Let me grab one again. I hope you liked it too. I think the rest of my day is going to be designing more creations with these exact beads, putting them into different combos. I think that'll be really fun. Michelle has a good reminder there. Don't forget to close out your cart before the show ends. And let's see, and so the beading needle has an eye and not a long split. Yes, Susie, it does. It's more of a traditional beading needle. I think it was a size 11 that I used. It's just a traditional beading needle, not like a big eye needle or twisted wire needle or anything like that. And then what else? Oh yes, coin beads. If you would like to pick up some of these today, they do come in a nice variety of colors. In addition to, of course, the one that we use. So Julie20 is the code for the deal of the day, and you'll get 20% off of those. So that's fun. And Santa Barbara Girl, oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the project. I am happy I am back as well. It is good to be back. I'll see you guys next week with another project. And don't forget to check out all of our other designers. We have a very full week here, every single week here at Art Beads. So tomorrow is going to be Becky Dahl, and Friday will be Sarah Lovecraft to round out the week. So please check out them as well and have a great week. I will see you guys next week. Bye.